Heather.
Hi, I'm Linda.
Welcome to
Wonderland! Yay!
Where everything is.
Oh, where everything is.
That way.
No, this way.
Oh, that way.
Oh.
Where we have enjoyed this home and land together for a decade or so, co-creating with source and nature, our gardens, orchard, and many other things.
And most importantly, we work together in harmony, in laughter, and fun.
And yes, we do incorporate plasma into just about everything we do. And to us, what Linda just shared is the ultimate plasma.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You just love it all, play with it all.
Love, laughter, play. That's the ultimate
have
plasma.
Pure intentions from a pure heart.
Yeah.
And enjoy sharing that with everybody.
Yeah.
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 We are HB Plasma Solutions. That stands for Heartbridge Plasma Water Solutions. Also find us on Etsy, where we have all the different things that we've been creating over the past years, but finally put together in a way to share with others on Etsy about a year ago, upon request of a friend to create the plasma items to share with her Patreon group. In this little video, I'm going to go through the little 4-page handout that we send with the Fruit and Veggie Preservative Spray to give you an idea of what our experiences were through the years before we started sharing this with others. For many other videos and a much shorter version of this one where you can just read the information instead of me talking about it all, go to our YouTube or BitChute channel. In evolution, one step at a time. The Fruit and Veggie Preservative Spray is not sold separately. It comes with the other items on our listings, the hug and the DIYs, and when we have extra, we put them in with the necklaces. We think everyone should have one or more. One of the many things that I really love about this technology is that it is super easy to use. Not so simple to explain. For example, with the Fruit and Veggie Preservative Spray, you just simply take your little tube and put it in a spray bottle, and it does really the rest of the work. The best recommendation is to use distilled water. Why? Well, I see that as a blank disc to imprint with the attributes of plasma. But do experiment with whatever you like and share your results. We also use our filtered well water with excellent results. How long will it last? We don't know yet. You're part of the experiment. Let us know your results. We've been using it over and over since our initial tests for years with the same results, actually. We use the plasma water spray on everything we bring into the house from the store, from the garden. It's been a tremendous savings on just having to buy less green items because they last so much better and longer. The picked spinach and salad greens, they just last and last. Suggestions are to lightly spray your greens when you first bring them home from the store or when you pick them. Fluff them up and turn them over if they're tight in a container as you very lightly spritz the leaves. No need to soak them. Just leave the box open a little while and let it dry somewhat before closing the lid and putting it back in the refrigerator. If there's a whole lot of greens and they're really shoved in there, sometimes I'll separate them and put them into 2 boxes. Our observations: before plasma water, boxed greens only lasted a few days and some would start to go slimy. Each time I would reach in the box, I had to weed through and pull out all the stinky, squishy ones and rinse everything before making a salad. Within a week, it was all bad and had to be tossed anyways. Now, the next evolution of our experience with plasma water, since we've been spritzing the liquid plasma water in the box of greens, it stays fresh until we use it all up. We even had one box we forgot was in there. It lasted over a month, and in the bottom of the refrigerator, when we found it, there were a few slightly yellowed leaves, but no broken down slimy ones. So we had a great salad. It's like they didn't even know they had been picked. One fun experiment is to spray a few spinach leaves and leave them out on the counter on a paper plate. They don't go limp and colorless, they just stay green and dry. It's like they had been placed in a dehydrator. And then they're great for a snack or in a smoothie. Thought I'd do a quick follow-up video about the amazing properties of the plasma water. So went on vacation and came back, and it's just a great delight to see that these greens are still good. I looked it up, and the video I did of how to spray the greens I did on the 14th, and today is the 6th. So that's 3 weeks and a couple days. I think we counted like 23 days, which is unheard of, and they're still just awesome. I mean, they look like when we bought them. I mean, if there's sometimes a little squishy one, you know, maybe like one, it doesn't tend to get everything around it squishy, you know, so I just maybe take those out if there's one or two of them. And then the other thing that I noticed sometimes is like maybe one of the leaves will yellow, but it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of like gone into its normal fall cycle or something. I don't know. But that is great. That means that we can still have our salads now that we're back from vacation and forgot to eat all these things before. See, there's the one or two sometimes. Let's take that out and use the rest. Suggestions for picked fruits and veggies? Another great place to use the plasma spray. Just lightly mist your whole fruits and veggies when they first come in the house. Let them dry a little bit before putting into the refrigerator. Or actually, we don't even put them in the refrigerator anymore because they do just fine on the counter. If you slice them especially, give them another mist on each side and sit them up where the air can get to them to dry a bit, and then turn them over periodically. With citrus fruits, before plasma water, I tried many things to be able to keep a sliced up lemon usable, right? Refrigerator, no refrigerator, cover it, don't cover it, Tupperware, putting the halves back together, etc. Within a day or so, the fruit became soft, shriveled, and even molded, or just went bad. Really? A lemon? Anyways, our upgraded experience. When I slice any sort of citrus fruit, lemons, grapefruits, oranges, give them a little bit of a spritz, and within a few hours they take on this beautiful stained glass look to me. The outer layer dries, but the inner fruit stays moist and usable. These sliced lemon and grapefruit pitchers above had been sitting on the counter for a week, and then when you squeeze them, they're as fresh as when they were first sliced. I just love that. Okay, avocados and bananas. Before plasma, the whole avocado would go bad quickly, getting brown, fibrous, weird, and squishy, and basically need to be thrown away much of the time. I tried lots of the life hack type things where you preserve them, different ideas without much success. Bananas would brown inside and outside quickly and go beyond my willingness to eat them or even make banana bread sometimes. And if you slice them or open them, they would certainly go bad and start to mold. Now, our upgraded experience at plasmified kitchen time. After slicing an avocado, we'll give it a spritz and leave it on the counter. Often the cut part will stay green until we're ready to eat it, even over to the next day. Sometimes a thin brown black skin forms over the cut part. It's like it's trying to heal itself and make itself another skin. But that can easily be cut off to reveal a preserved, green, and yummy avocado. The thin slice becomes sort of like an avocado jerky, very dark in color, but still delicious and preserved, kind of mummified. Thin banana slices, you can slice them up and put them on a paper plate. They'll still turn brown, but they tend to dry into a tasty dry treat that never really goes bad. With things like apples and bananas, I do notice that they do still what would be termed oxidize, because there is some of the brownness that comes into to the surface. But the difference is that oxidation doesn't tend to go any deeper than the surface, and it doesn't tend to turn into, going moldy or bad, or anything of that type of presentation. I remember when we started experimenting with this stuff, I even had to take an apple to work, because I was like, well, what normally happens to fruit? Because we'd been playing with the plasma for so many years. I thought, well, I'll take one to work and see what happens, and I sliced it and left it out on the desk there, and sure enough, very different process. Turned very brown very quickly, and later in the day didn't look very good at all, and by the next day, quite a bit of mold. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is different. Hello, beautiful fruits and vegetables. Ripen, sweeten, and preserve. Prepare the nutrients that our bodies need for their use and assimilation, and neutralize anything that is not in our highest interest. Thank you so much. Okay, another fun, easy, and very inexpensive way to spread your plasma and be able to share it with friends and family, and to put it in more places around your house, right, is to get some of these cute little freezer balls, they're called. They do have distilled water inside. I make sure I get the ones that are made in America by a reputable company, and plasmify that, right? Because they have distilled water, so you just get them within the field of your plasma vial or your hug. Maybe leave them there for a day or two and ask them to pick up the plasma fields. And then you can do what you want with them. I put them, like in the refrigerator, in the freezer, in the fruit basket. What about your kid's lunchbox, egg cartons, any of those types of things. And then the field will be emanated from them. Another great place to use your plasma water is with a bouquet of flowers, because it helps them last much longer and the water stay clearer. So before the plasma water, a bouquet of flowers would go limp and lifeless. Soon after being put in a vase, they would often soften, and the water would go smelly and slimy, needing to be changed often. On Valentine's Day, this bouquet, it lasted just like this basically for about 3 weeks, remaining fresh and vibrant, and then slowly beginning to turn into beautifully dried flowers. The water never required being changed, and it stayed sparkly and clear throughout the whole process. We still have them on a table, nearly 3 months later as the writing of this, but I guess that was a couple years ago. I keep them out in the lab in a vase because they're gorgeous. They're still beautifully dried and seem to be still emanating their rosiness. One of the most noticeable effects has been on berries. You know how you'll buy some, and here in a little bit they've turned fuzzy, soft, smushy, no longer usable, within a few days before you can eat them. Since plasma, we take the berries out of the box they came in, give them a light spritz with the water, let them dry again, and either put them back in the fridge, or more normally we just leave them out on the counter. They continue to ripen and wait to be eaten. Sometimes, 1 or 2 in the container will go bad, but the cool thing is it doesn't spread to the others. And if we leave them out long enough, a few weeks, they will just start to become dried, and they taste great, concentrated berryness flavor. When you bring your strawberries home from the store, spread them out, spray them a little bit with plasma water, say ripen and preserve. Accentuate all the positive nutrients for my body and remove anything else. Neutralize and ripen these in preparation for my smoothie. Add a little more to the smoothie mix itself, and voila! Plasma water is awesome to use with pet water. One thing is it keeps it from getting slimy so quickly. Used to, I had to change the cat's water every few days or the sides would get slimy and the water would go bad. Since using plasma water, it seems like it just lasts until it's used up. I'm using even the larger container that's, about 2 or 3 gallons? It's the travel type of a container. And it gets to the bottom before it gets slimy, and I don't have to spend near as much time cleaning it out. Not to mention the amazing benefits to the kitty cat who is drinking it, of course. So when I check the conversion of cat years to people years, he's 15 years old, so he's supposed to be, it says 76 years old, but my gosh, you couldn't tell it. He runs around here like a kitten, he plays, he hunts, he's up on the roof, running around his 9 acres like a youngster. You can also try it in ponds and pools and water fountains. We've used it and had some amazing reports of other people using it in their previously gunky, green, murky lily ponds and having them turn beautiful and clear. Also, reports of people using it in their swimming pool and having to have less maintenance and less chemicals. So experiment, have fun, figure out what you can do. I've also taken it with me going into public/national monument type regions, right, where there might be some large waterfalls around groups of people making decisions that may or may not benefit society. So that's another way you can spread the plasma. And just think of it, you're drinking it, it's going into the, I guess you would say, the waterways and plumbing of the city. So it is being spread one way or the other. So what is in this little bitty vial that is in the spray bottle? And why did I spend the amount of money I did on it? So several possible answers come to mind. It's definitely the product of thousands and thousands of hours of my personal mind and heart expanding study of free and open source teachings for public and health professionals that I listened to online from 2015 to 2018, pretty darn solid. And experimenting and playing with the chemistry, the alchemy, the R&D with other students all around the world and in my own home. Lots of time was put into sharing and how to share and how to contain and how to package the plasma to share with friends and family over the years. And the cool thing is we received amazing feedback and ideas. So I have compiled a free ebook filled with the experiences and testimonials and general information about this technology. This particular formula is a combination of several different plasma waters that I have made personally. The first one is known as Co2 Zinc Gans. It's the first Gans that we learned how to make. As you know, plants use CO2 as part of their photosynthesis process. They also create GANs, that is, gas as a nanosolid. It's an excellent supporting agent in the cases of pain, virus, cancers, in supporting the body in transcending those processes and raising its general vibration and clearing discordant energies. In its GANS form, GANS means gas is a nanosolid state. It is connected to the origin of carbon-based life on this planet. Each GANS particle is like a sun. How many suns do you need in one universe? It does create a clear, coherent field that allows balance to be restored. The second type of plasma in this little vial is one I call fruit and veggie. It's a really fun mix that were made by 5 friends, myself, one evening, sharing healthy food items from our own land and cupboards. And we created the GANs of that, which was the plasma essence of over 33 high vibe fruits, veggies, and herbs. The next ingredient is the Zinc Gans, which is known for its beneficial effect on the emotions. Emotions are known for being the most important component, usually the seed, reason, origin of the stuck point, creating various states of dis-ease in the human. Plants have emotions too. Maybe this is one reason they remain preserved and full of life. They don't seem to know that they've been removed from the plant, from their source. And think of the implications of that for the human using the plasma waters. And the fourth ingredient is just a little drop of the copper oxide GANs, CO2 GANs. It's a great preservative. It also supports your human body's nerve, muscle, and joint tissue. Oh, and the zinc GANs, I made it using ocean water, so it's somewhat similar to the concept of what is called ormes, or the trace minerals, all the trace minerals in the ocean water, trace minerals and fine high metals that are in the ocean water. So this is the combination of plasma waters that I came up with for the purpose of preserving fruits and vegetables. It's likely that just using the original CO2 plasma water that was originally taught would have similar effects. Try that and also let us know your experiences. Now each tiny tube only has one little drop of the GANs, but in one drop there's hundreds of the particles, referred to as the tiny suns. How many suns do you need in your universe? Originally, we shared this plasma water with no GANs in it, and it worked just fine, and it seemed to last and last as well. It's just been in this last year that I've been guided to actually add some of the GANs into the formulas that we send out. So what is going on here? To me, it's somewhat similar to pyramid type power. Plasma water seems to create a field, coherent, balanced field, that is similar to pyramid energy, where entropy, breakdown, is so slow that the matter just dehydrates or mummifies. Instead of giving the signal off to the environment that it's dead and needing to be broken down by molds and bacteria, it just waits in suspended animation until you're ready to use it. They say an alchemist is one who transforms everything with love. We are very aware of the principles of alchemy in this process. All experiments and creations take place on our 9 acres of pristine forest and land. The house and land are plasmified in many ways. It is our intention to create the most coherent, high-vibe space possible for our creative endeavors, with pure, benevolent atmosphere, open minds, and hearts. And everything that we create is in alignment with nature's principles and a true 100% pure, benevolent source. So what is it that we're really doing with all this? Is it the plasma water, our plasmified bodies, or our intentions that are altering our physical reality and the physics of nature? Have we upgraded our experience to the next higher dimension of possibilities? Food for thought for sure. Will other people have similar experiences? So far, it seems that they do. What else is possible? And how can it get any better than this? We are HB Plasma Solutions. That stands for Heartbridge Plasma Water Solutions. Also find us on Etsy, where we have all the different things that we've been creating over the past years, but finally put together in a way to share with others on Etsy about a year ago, upon request of a friend to create the plasma items to share with her Patreon group. We just love that other people that we're sending these things to are really enjoying them and having similar experiences. We're also super grateful for the insights and inspiration and information that the beautiful Penny Kelly has shared while she's been playing with this technology. Penny said that when she puts the plasma next to her water, it changes the water. It changes the structure of the water to make it very powerful and very healthy and alive. And when she sprays the plasma water on picked greens, she said even though they're picked, it's like they don't know they've been picked. It's like they're still on the plant. They're even fresh 3 weeks later, as fresh as the day you bought them, or maybe even better than the day they were picked. She said when you add energy to something, that the energy is used to maintain the structure of that matter. And that's what this plasma water does. When you spray it on growing plants, wow, they just grow like you've given them some type of superfood. Penny and Braca did a beautiful program called Health, New Earth, and More, where they had an extensive discussion about live water, living water, and what that is compared to dead water. In response to Braca's question about what is a starting point, what are we going to do without high quality living water? And Penny responded saying that she wanted to start with the discussion of water because without water, high quality water, we're going down. And so Braca wanted to find out a little more about how to create living water, and Penny pointed out a few different ways that she has had experience with that. And also another way of doing it is if you know somebody that has plasma water, and she pointed out the little plasma tubes that we have sent her. And she had them taped to the side of her jar, but since then we have come up with a way to make those nice little stretchy fabric hugs to hold that on her jar, because I couldn't quite stand to see her have to tape it on there. Anyways, so she said then that water structures your water because the plasma gives off a very powerful frequencies. There's a huge field of energy around that water jar, and the water in the jar ends up structuring to match those frequencies, to match that water, living water. And in her program with Max, Penny was talking to her as well about the subject of live water and dead water. And she said one way to do it is we can get plasma tubes, and she shows her little tube embedded in the fabric with the hug that we sent her, and said that these are the plasma tubes. They have plasma water in it, and it keeps this water alive. So what does all this mean? Don't get too bogged down in the information. Fortunately, this stuff is so much easier to use than it is to explain. Just sit with me for a moment and imagine if the plasma water is having these types of effects on fruits and veggies, animals, plants, water. What are we made of? Right? Water, what effect is it having on a human body or somebody that incorporates this into their life?